Welcome everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill of Scrubby Quick Designs, and I'm so happy to have you join me today. I have teamed up with 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, one of my favorite places to buy cardstock, and they are doing a 12 days of Christmas paper crafting event. Doesn't that sound like fun? Every day for 12 days, starting November the 24th, the day after Thanksgiving, we will be showcasing a different designer's holiday project. You'll get a link to that project, and also you can download a free SVG file so you can make that project too. It's super easy. Down in the description of this video, you'll see a link where you can go sign up for their email so you start getting those email messages every morning starting November the 24th through December the 5th to get a different project each day. Now let's take a look at my project. My project is this really cute ho 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 vertical banner. Some of us don't have mantles and fireplaces for us to have big fancy banners, but I still want to showcase and have a banner in my home. So I created this to share with you. It is full of beautiful holiday images, also specialty papers that 12 by 12 cardstock offers that will help add some sparkle and shine to your holiday decorating. I have a special deal for you. Down below this video is the link to shop at 12 by 12 Cardstock. I am an affiliate for them, and if you decide you want to purchase any of these materials after looking at my project today, then you can use my coupon code DebbieO10, the number 10, and you will also get 10% off of your order. Isn't that awesome? Now I will tell you that they do ship very quickly, so shipments go out every business day and they are super fast. I've never bought cardstock from a company where I got it as fast as I do from them. And it's always packaged well. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, I know sometimes y'all are always asking me, where can I buy like multiple sheets of the same color? So you go to a craft store and sometimes it's hard to find the same number of sheets that you need of the same color. 12 by 12 Cardstock sells it by individual sheets, so you can buy as many as you want, and they also have bulk packs. So be sure and check that out. I know it's something that as a paper crafter, you're always looking for the best place to get paper. All right, so let's go take a look at my project. What did I use on my project, and then how do we put it together? Take a quick look at the supplies you'll need to make the ho 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 vertical banner I've created for you. Now, the SVG file for this project is housed over at the 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, and there'll be a link in the description of this video for you to be able to go over there and get this so you can make it for yourself. And you will need an electronic cutting machine today that cuts SVG files. Today I will be using a Cricut Explore Air 2, but a Cricut Maker, any of the Cricut Makers, any of the Cricut Explorers, even the Cricut Joy Extra will be able to cut this project. Unfortunately, the little Cricut Joy, the little blue one, will not cut this project because the size is too big. You're also going to need a few other supplies, where I'm going to show you that real quick. But when you get that SVG file, it will come in a zip folder, and in that zip folder, I have created this little supply list for you and code basically here of which of the materials did I use for which of the pieces in the file. So this will be super handy for you to have. You may want to print this out when you go to start getting your materials pulled together and work on your project. You've uploaded the SVG file, then of course you'll need to cut your materials. So we're going to go over some of this. Now, everything I have here is from the 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. They are my favorite place to get cardstock because they have such a beautiful selection of colors and specialty cardstock. We have these beautiful papers. If you guys can see these, they are what they call their pearlescent. Okay, so these are pearlescent papers. So this is gold. I'm using bronze. This is going to make the reindeer. And then I'm using this really beautiful fine gold color, which if y'all can see that in the camera, see how shiny and pretty that is? This is going to be for the background of the letters that say ho, ho, ho. And then we have, this is probably my new favorite glitter cardstock to use, and it is sequin glitter. Can you see that? Oh my God, it is so pretty. But it's little teeny tiny sequins on this glitter piece, and it is absolutely beautiful, and it gives a lot of texture to your card projects. And you can see here, I left out a piece of this so you guys can see it. Look how beautifully it cut. Now, I cut this on my Cricut Explore Air 2, and I used the regular glitter cardstock setting, and then in the default, where for the cutting pressure, I turned it to more instead of the regular default, and it cut out beautifully. So that's a tip for you there. But this is the emerald green. It's called Shamrock, and that's the sequin, and I use this for the large holly embellishments. And then there is the gold. And the gold is, I'm using this as the top layer for the letters for the Ho Ho Ho, and it's called Gold Treasure Sequin Glitter. Look how beautiful that is. It is so pretty. All right, and then we get into their beautiful, just regular glitter paper, and it comes in a zillion different colors, but I'm using the white, which they call, let me make sure I tell you the right color, because there were a couple of colors of white that they have. This one's the bright white glitter luxe cardstock, and this I'm using for the Santa hat and the candy cane. Then we have the regular glitter, red glitter, and this one is the ruby red glitter. Now, in the project cut files, there are 3 different shades of red. One of them is going to be the red glitter cardstock, and this is like for the Santa hat and the top for the candy cane, I think. And then I have this beautiful, this is red mirror foil board. It is gorgeous, and the minute I saw this, I'm like, that is going to be Rudolph's nose. So I used it in a couple of places for the berries and for Rudolph's nose, and it's so pretty. And then I'm going to have just regular red cardstock, which is what I'm going to cut one of the squares for the backing for the banner. And this one is All American Red. They have several different red cardstocks, but this is the All American Red. And then there's the green. We're going to use this. This is going to be another backing for 2 of the squares for the back of the banner, and this one is called Dill Pickle. Really pretty color, and it's a lightly textured cardstock. It cut great on the Cricut. And then I also used a piece of the black, and the black is called Jet Black textured cardstock, and this I use for the background shapes for all of the embellishments on the banner. Okay, and then you're going to need 2 pieces of pattern paper to make the banner the way I have it laid out. On your file, you're going to see that there's 2 darker gray, and then there's 1 light gray. So 2 of these are going to be the same pattern paper, and this will be a separate set pattern paper just to add more visual interest. So I picked these 2. You want to pick something that's kind of a medium to small pattern that's not super busy, because we want the letters and the embellishments to really shine. Okay, so where do you find pattern cardstock? People ask me that all the time. What do I use? Where do I find it? It's really hard when you go to find something that you're looking for, particularly when you're looking for like more holiday Christmas papers. And guess what? My absolute favorite is paper from Echo Park. Okay, so Echo Park is probably, I must have every pattern they've ever made, and I use it not only for holidays, but for year-round. They have a lot of great patterns, and guess what? 12 by 12 cardstock carries a lot of the Echo Park collection packs. And in these collection packs, you're going to get all of these different patterns. So the 2 that I pulled for mine came out of this set, which is My Favorite Christmas, but they have a lot of different of these collection packs. They're very affordable, and then you make the great thing about buying a collection pack is because all of these patterns all coordinate together. So you know how sometimes you're having trouble kind of, is this pattern going to work with this one? Or, you know, when you're trying to mix and match patterns, the collection packs are great because you will see that they all coordinate beautifully. The colors, tones are all the same. It fits well together. So I picked these 2 out of this pack because I wanted something with a little visual interest but not overpowering for the project. So that's where that came from. And then, of course, you're going to need a a cutting mat. Now, I recommend, because some of these papers are slightly different weights, that you use the Cricut Green Standard Grip Mat. And the Standard Grip Mat is going to be just sticky enough, and what you want to do is, I don't want it to be a brand new mat, because that will be really sticky and hard to get your projects off of. So one that has, you've used it a couple of times and it's, you know, not quite as sticky, but it's still pretty sticky. And what I want you to do is you're going to put your paper, your pattern paper, on your mat, and you're going to use the brayer. So you'll need a brayer tool. I really recommend this, particularly when you're working with some of the heavier weight cardstock. And you're just going to roll this onto here so that your paper is nice and flat and it's really stuck onto your cutting mat. And that will give you nice, clean cuts, I promise. So you'll need a brayer. I also recommend you have a little pair of crafting tweezers. This is going to be handy to hold the smaller shapes when we go to glue things together. A pair of scissors, because we're going to need this when we go to cut the ribbon. I also recommend you have a scraper tool, so that when you are doing the cutouts, once you remove your project from the cutting mat, you're going to have pieces that get left behind. Having a larger scraper really helps, because all you have to do is just do this and pull all of that right off of your mat. So that is really handy to have. And to be able to measure the spacing between the banner pieces, a ruler, because we're going to want these to be 2 inches apart, and it's going to be very helpful when we go to add the ribbon to our banner to hold it up, that we space those appropriately. Now this one I really like. This is it's called a Victor Easy Read ruler, but the main reason why I like this, look at this. Can you guys see that? Is it going to focus on it? There we go. It has all of these measurements. Like sometimes you get a project that says 3/8 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, and it's really hard on a regular ruler to see that, but this has it all marked out here very easily for you to see those smaller increments. And then your regular, you know, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, those kind of things are really easy. But I have found this ruler invaluable. Okay, and I do have all of the supplies linked up in my form here. You'll find all of everything that we need I have listed here, and these are links, and it'll take you to Amazon and it'll show you what it is I'm referring to. And let's see. Okay, so we're going to need adhesive. Now, you want a quick dry liquid glue that dries clear. And my 2 favorite glues are either the Bearly Art Precision Craft Glue or the Art Glitter Glue, which is probably my absolute favorite. I've been using this one for a long time. And you want to make sure that you get the ones that have a fine tip on them. So I have both of those listed for you. Now they do come with a pin that you put in the top, and that keeps the glue from drying out in the tube. So, and then I usually get the smaller things and then get the refill bottle that comes with it, so that this makes it very easy for me to control, because it's smaller in my hand to manage it. And then as I use the glue up out of these, I just refill it. So that's another tip for you. And then, of course, we're going to need some foam tape. Some foam. These are foam squares. I linked some of those up there in the description too. And what we're going to be doing is, as we add elements to our banner shape, we're going to give it some more dimension by adding the foam dots behind some of the pieces to lift it up. And that really makes the banner look extra special. So that's why you need some of these. You can use foam tape and cut it with scissors too if you want, but you'll need some foam tape. And on the back of the banner pieces, we're going to need to adhere the bottoms of our ribbon. You will need 2 36-inch pieces of 1/2 inch ribbon. Now I bought gold glitter ribbon. I will tell you that pulling this through, that glitter kind of went everywhere. So if you're not a glitter person, don't get the glitter ribbon. But I just thought this looked pretty with the project. But you could use any colors of ribbon. I actually found these are a deal, because I found rolls of it at the Dollar tree or the $1.25 tree. Beautiful rolls of it in all different colors and patterns, holiday ribbons. So you might check that out if you have one of those near you. I also listed a link to get them on Amazon if you don't have a Dollar Tree or you don't want to mess with it. But you'll need two 36-inch pieces of that. And because we're going to be working with glue, and if you've got any glitter going on and you get little flakes anywhere, I always have some type of a baby wipe or wet wipes with me when I start to work on a project. So that gives you a good overview, explains kind of what materials we're using and why I pick certain things. Okay, so now we want to get our image into Design Space. So we're going to click over here. I'm in Design Space. I'm going to do upload, and I'm going to do upload image here, and then I'm going to go browse. Now you're going to browse to wherever you save this file. Here's the file folder. I've unzipped it. In that file folder is the SVG file, and also that PDF that I mentioned, that's the guide. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, and that's going to be the SVG file. So that's the one we want to upload. And over here it'll say the name of the file that I've named it. You can add any tags if you want to do that. And then we're going to click upload. Now once we upload this, you'll see it in your uploads. You're going to click on that and you're going to add it to your can. And it'll take a second because it's kind of a big file. Now when it imports in, for whatever reason, Design Space doesn't always import in to the correct size that the designer designed it. And in my case that happened. So you are going to need to change the dimensions. Now see how this is all grouped together, so you want to leave it grouped until we change it. Okay, so we're going to come up here to where it's locked. We're going to unlock it here where the measurements are, and we're going to change that width to 15.20, and then the height we're going to change to 11.248, and then we're going to click the lock back together, and now our project is sized appropriately. All right, let's let you go ahead and cut out all your pieces, and then we're going to go to assembly. I do recommend that you have the guide that I provided to you handy as you start to put your banner pieces together, because that will help you understand kind of placement and what goes where. So every banner piece has a backing piece. So in my design, I used 2 green squares, which is what you're going to see here for the backing, and then I used 1 red. This is just a regular textured cardstock piece. Now, of course, any of these pieces can be interchanged for whatever colors you want to use, and of course, whatever cardstock you want to use. But every piece has a backing, and then you're going to have your pattern piece. Okay. Now, the top, the first 2 pieces have 4 holes. Okay. The bottom piece only has 2 holes because we're not hanging anything from the bottom. So you want to make sure that you're looking at that when you put them together. Now you will have the top piece also match up the cardstock that you cut, the pattern paper that you cut, that has the 4 holes to this. And then what I recommend is before you start gluing, go ahead and match up the 4 holes, because they're not exactly even, and I don't want you fussing with it and turning it the wrong way and then your holes aren't lining up. So take a second and go ahead and line up your holes just like this. You're going to flip this over and you're going to use your liquid glue, and I am just going to glue it on like this. You can see, you just kind of draw. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want enough glue on here that it's going to adhere well, because you're going to have everything else on top of this. So you want to make sure that these 2 pieces stay well together. Okay, then you're going to flip that over, and we're going to line up those holes and create the background for our banner. And the good thing about the liquid glue is if you get it slightly off, you can kind of futz with it a little bit. And then you want to press it really well and make sure it is adhered well. This is another great time to use your brayer and roll that on there to make sure that all the glue is even. Okay, so we're going to do this for all 3 of the pieces. I'm going to show you how to put one of the banner pieces together. The rest of them all go together the same, so I don't want to bore you with going through each single piece. But so you're going to do the background and the pattern paper for each of your 3 pieces, And then you want to work with your letters. Now, the letters, I used that the fine gold pearlescent for the background. This is like going to create like a shadow, okay? So you've got the first two pieces. This piece is ho-ho in this font, and the bottom one is the same, okay? The one in the middle is the one that has like the fun, I call that the fancy, the fancy H. So you'll have two of these, and then you're going to have, this is that really pretty sequin glitter cardstock, okay? And this is going to be super easy. You're just going to flip this over if you want. I like to use my tweezers here and hold this and just add some of my glue to the back here. And then I'm going to flip it over. We're going to line it up so that the top of the letter, let me let that go, the top of the letter of the top is on the top of the H, okay? And then this bar piece here in the middle is lined up with the top of the bar here, because what we're doing is we're creating kind of an offset shadow piece here. So this is your first letter, and then you're going to do the second one. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to flip this over, and we're going to add the glue to the back. And we're going to do the same thing here where we're just going to line that up. I'm just lining this right edge up, and then I'm going to press this down and get that glue to stick. Okay, so you can see how pretty and shiny that is, adding that beautiful sequin glitter cardstock to that. It really makes it special. All right, so we're going to add our letters to our background of our banner piece. So we're just going to, there again, just add some glue. This project goes together really quickly once you get everything cut out. And I'm just going to line it up here. I like to kind of lay my letters down and then figure out where they're going to go, and then I'll pick it up and glue it. So I know those are going there, and this one's going to go here. And you can see I'm not putting a ton of glue, but I'm putting enough. And then we're going to lay this down like so. And you want to press down and let these dry. Okay, so we're going to move this off to the side, and now we're going to work on the embellishment pieces. So this, the top one gets the Santa hat, as you can see here in the guide. So we're going to put the Santa hat together. Each of the embellishment pieces have a black background shape. So you'll take that, and then you've got the fancy element, the fancy cardstock goes on top of that. Okay, so we're going to do Santa's hat first. And we're going to do the red glitter is going to go on first, okay? So we're just going to do that and line it up. And just place it so that you're leaving a little bit of a black outline around the top there. If you guys can see that. See how there's a little bit of a black outline there? And we want to press this down, make sure that that's stuck. And then you have the other two, the white glitter cardstock, which is the Santa, that's going to be here for the puff ball on Santa's hat. And then you have the band, the white fur band, basically is going to go here. But on these pieces, we're going to elevate those, and I'm going to flip them over, and that's when we're going to use some of our foam dots. Foam dots, depending upon what size you're using, you can just use your scissors and cut down. So I've got that pressed on there. Now, you're going to remove the back lining here. Now, what I always do on mine is, because I live in Houston and it gets very humid here, and sometimes foam dot adhesive doesn't always stay great here because it gets just too much moisture. So I like to add a little dab of glue to the back. Even though it's got adhesive on it, I add a little dab of glue because I want to make sure this is going to stay. Now, on this shape, on this little puffball shape that I created, there is one little flat edge here, and then the rest of it looks kind of, you know, scalloped. And you're going to line this up with that flat shape, the flat side, so it's up, pointing up towards where the red comes down on your Santa hat. And you want to leave a black outline around the outside when you place it. And we're just going to push that down like that. Now we're adding dimension to this shape by adding those foam squares, which makes this really a fun thing to do, and it'll make your banner really pop so everything's not just laying flat on your banner. And then we're going to add a couple of the foam squares to the back of the Santa hat, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to remove that liner. Each of the elements work the same way, and you'll have the that black background shape, and then you'll have the main body shape goes on top of the black, and then you're going to have elements that we're going to pop up to give it that dimension. So here's the Santa hat. We're going to do the same thing. Push that down, and now we have this really cute dimensional looking Santa hat, which is going to go over here. We'll add that in a minute, but let's go ahead. All three of these pieces have the holly. For the holly, they're the same. It's the same holly shapes. So you're going to have a black background piece. I use that beautiful shamrock sequin glitter cardstock for that, and we're going to add that to our background shape. What I suggest you do is go ahead and figure out where this goes on here, because all three of these leaves, when I drew them, are a different size. So I kind of make sure I line it up. I'm going to lay this piece down here so that I know when I go to put this on, I've got it in the right orientation. This one's a little bit narrow shape here, so that is a good guide to use, so you can match that up. If you match that side up, you'll be fine getting it to line up. And then there again, this is going to create a shadow. The black creates a shadow around that green. So you're just going to line this up so you get it like this. And then you have the two pieces. This is where your tweezers are really going to come in handy. So I cut the white pieces just out of the glitter, the white glitter cardstock. So since I was already using it, it made sense just to do that. And then you have your red foil berry. Okay, so you want, there again, you want to go ahead and match this up so that those, you know where that shape's going to go on top of that one. I'm going to go ahead and use it on the foil. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add glue just a little bit. It doesn't take much, and you don't want to put too much on here. And if you get too much of a glob, I just use my fingers and kind of smooth that out a little bit, and then I have my wet wipe here to wipe my finger on. And then I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add the berries to the top of the glitter glue. I mean the glitter cardstock, sorry. I'm going to add the berries to the top of that glitter. Now the great thing is that this sticks really well. We're going to let that sit for just a second. And then the berries are going to be elevated on top of your holly piece. So for the berries, I'm just going to use, I cut a piece of my foam tape more in this shape so it would fit there. And then we're going to do the same thing where we're just going to remove this liner off of it. And put the glue on it. Okay, and then we're just going to lay our berries on here. Now we have the holly piece done. So you're going to do all three of these the same way, and then you're going to have your embellishments completed for your the first project, and we're going to put these on. Now there again, we don't want to just lay these flat on here. It looks better when you elevate these. Okay, so we're going to use foam dots again, and we're going to figure out where we're going to lay this. So I have the Santa hat. It's kind of this part of it is touching around the edge here on my letter. So when I lay this down, I'm going to kind of look here. All right, so you don't want to put foam dots on the outside over here. We're going to put foam dots so they're over here so that they will stay on and support our hat up. So I like to just flip that over, and I'll probably put 3 on here just to make sure I've got it on there well. And then take this liner off. And there again, I'm adding the glue to the back of this just to make sure these stay on really well, particularly since I'm going to be laying this on top of something that's a textured glitter cardstock. I want to make sure that it stays on really well. And then you're going to just add your hat so that part of it is hanging off the edge of your banner. And you'll push these down where you added the foam dots. Okay, so there's your first part. And then we're going to do the same thing to our holly. So you can figure out kind of where you want your holly. You want to make sure that you're not putting it so it's down over your hole here. You want to leave that hole open. And we're going to do the same thing. Let's see. I'm going to do my holly like this. Okay, so I want to put it on these two. It doesn't take much to lift these up to be able to get that dimension on your banner piece. Okay, there we go. So then we're just going to lay this on where you want it. There again, don't overlap on your hole here on the bottom. Okay, so there is the first piece finished, and look how beautiful that is. All the different texture and the shimmer and shine really makes this a fun banner piece. And then you can see here the dimension as it comes off the banner. So there's the first piece. Now, I'm not going to painstakingly go through each of these with you. I just wanted to show you what the final product looked like. Then I'm going to show you how to put the ribbon to hang the banner. So there again, same thing with that holly leaf. And then for the letters, and you're lining up that top layer at the top and along the sides, just like we did the other ho, ho, ho. And then the reindeer is the black cardstock, and then that bronze kind of browner pearlescent is the next layer, and then on top of that is the little reindeer head. That's the lighter gold color. And then I used a foam dot to add the Rudolph's nose in that beautiful red foil. So that's where this one got popped up, just like you did with the red berries there. So that's that piece. And then this piece, the bottom piece, is the one that has the 2 holes in it. Okay, and same thing. This is the same letters as the top piece, and it's also the same background. Same thing with the holly, exact same way. And then with the candy cane, you're going to have the black background. You're going to have a white glitter background that goes next, and then on top of that is the red glitter for the candy cane. And then there is the same color that you cut the background for this green, you're going to there's a holly piece that goes on the candy cane, and that's going to go here, and then you put the red foil dot on top of that. And what I did was I put these two together, and then I put a foam dot behind the grouping, and then I put that on top of the candy cane. We've got the 3 banner pieces are completed, and I do recommend that at this point you go ahead and clean off the top of your glue. I just wipe it with the wet wipe and then put your pen back in. And what I'm going to do is turn this around just so it's easier for us to see the pieces together. And we're going to need some type of tape. Now I'm using a double-sided core tape. It's a double-sided sticky tape. You want something that's going to hold the back of your ribbon onto the back of this one piece. I'm going to show you how to do that. You can also use Scotch tape if you want, or whatever, but you want some type of tape that's going to be very sticky to hold your ribbon onto the back of your banner so your banner doesn't fall apart. You have the order, so we've got Santa hat, reindeer, candy cane. Okay, so those are the order. This is the top, and this is the bottom. This is the one that has the 2 holes in it. You're going to take one of your ribbons here. We're going to flip this piece over, and in that hole, we're going to put the first piece of the bottom edge of the ribbon. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that through and make sure it goes flat a little bit, and then I'm going to add some tape to this to hold it on to the back. All right, this is going to be our anchor on that bottom piece. So this is the piece with the 2 holes. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, so we can just tape it at the same time. Kind of folding it in half basically, and then pulling it through the hole, and then I'm just spreading it out so it's even. Okay, so make those look about the same. Then I'm just going to take my double-sided sticky tape, and I'm going to pull some of this off, and I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to put the tape on the front side of that ribbon. Okay, I'm going to really burnish that down well with my fingernail, and then I'm going to pull that liner up and flip this over and then press, okay, to get that to stick really well, because this you don't want pulling out. You want that to be stuck there really well, so make sure you burnish that to get it down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side for the other part of the ribbon. We've got it attached now, so when you pull on it, it stays. We're just going to flip this over now that we've got those attached, and now we're going to line up our banner pieces so that we can thread this and get it so you are creating a hanger for your banner. The thing that you will need now is that ruler. So get the ruler out, and we're going to go ahead and the next piece here on that one side, we're going to thread it through front to back. Okay, so it's going front and then it's going to the back, and I'm going to pull this through. Doing this in one long, that's why we cut two 36-inch pieces, so that you don't have to do a lot of tying. We're just going to pull these through, and it will take a second to get those pulled through. And then we're going to go ahead, and then the back of this stays on the back side of your banner, and then you're going to pull it back up through the top hole. Okay, like this. I'm going to pull that up, and we can always flip it around and make sure we're turning the ribbon correctly. Okay. And then we're going to do it to the top. Okay, so the bottom piece, we go in to the hole, and the top of it, we go out of the hole. Here we go. And we're going up the top side. And then you're going to do the same thing with your other side. Once you've got it threaded, now we need to do our measurements to make sure that they are about 2 inches apart from the bottom of one banner to the top of the other. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pull these and get them as evened up as I think I can at the moment, and then we're going to use the ruler. Okay, so here's the ruler. Now, you can make this if you want them 3 inches apart or you want them 2. I'm doing mine 2 inches apart, but if you want to make it apart bigger than that, each banner piece, then feel free to do that. I've done banners before where we made it longer in between, and then we tied other ribbon in between, which is also a cute look. For this one, I just wanted the banner pieces themselves to shine and not add too many other embellishments to it. So we're just going to do 2 inches. So I'm going to lay that ruler here at the top edge of the bottom piece, and then I'm going to move this one in, and as I'm doing that, I'm going to pull my ribbon, and I want to get this so that the edge of the ruler, basically it's 2 inches, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom piece, and you'll just have to hold it and then pull that until it looks like that is even. And then I'm going to measure down here too to make sure that I've got this even as possible. Okay, so that looks good. So the 2 is on the top of this bottom piece here, and it's 2 inches here, and my ribbon is, see how I've got it so it's pretty flat. Okay, you don't want it bubbled up because then they're not going to be even. And then we're going to pull this down and we're going to do the next set. So you'll just have to do this twice. So these should be even. All right, so yay! So we've got this spaced, and then all you're going to do is you're going to take your end of your ribbon here, and I like to make it so that it's going to hang. Let me turn this so you guys can see it a little easier. So I like to make it so that I've got about, let's measure that. It's about 6 inches from the top of the card to where I'm going to tie the knot, and then I'm just going to make a loop here. Okay, so we're going to tie a bow, but I like to make a knot at the top first, and then I tie the bow. So I'm going to just do that, and we're just going to pull it. Now this does not have to be perfect, so don't stress about this. You just want it, you're just making a knot, okay, to hold it up. There you go. Okay, so just like that. So I've just got a pretty knot there. And then I'm going to tie the bow. So we're just going to do this. And if the tying the bow part stresses you out, just tie the knot. That still looks cute too. But we're just going to flip that around. Now, if you're using a single-sided ribbon, like a double-sided ribbon like I am here, you're just going to kind of pull it around till you get the ribbon so that it is hanging correctly. So we've got the bow on the top. We have the beautiful ribbon hanging, and then we have our banner to hang. Well guys, I hope you really enjoyed my tutorial on making the Ho 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 vertical banner, and you also learned a few things about some specialty materials you can use to give your holiday projects that extra sparkle and shine. Be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'll have other paper crafting tutorials for you. And also you can join me over in my Let's Learn Cricut Design Space Facebook group if you're a Cricut user, and everybody shares their projects over there and it's really fun to be inspired. Or if you have questions, ask in the group. Somebody will answer you or myself. And you can find me at scrapmequickdesigns.com. That's my website, and I have a blog with lots of tutorials over there. And also I am updating a free resource library, so there'll be more free files for you from me coming soon. Hope you have a wonderful holiday. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you to 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop for the 12 days of paper crafting fun.